Hello, friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. My name's Jason Beckenham. I'm a solutions engineer, and welcome to another episode of Tableau Next Extensions for Industries. Today, we're going to be looking at how those extensions can help wealth advisors take a look at their book of business, understand what their clients have, understand next best action, you name it. It's all going to be in here. Let's get into it right now. Now, as a reminder, any dashboards that I show in this series are really a result of my colleague Jeff and I brainstorming. So this is a mock dashboard. If you think we nailed it, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, I don't want to hear from you. I'm just kidding. Let us know what you think we missed in the comments as well. So as a wealth advisor right here, I can see a book of business that really clearly is telling me for each client, what are my book metrics? What are my engagement metrics? What are my activity metrics for each one of those clients? Very specifically, though, let's say, hey, Dorothy, I really want to understand more about her, or maybe I'm meeting her soon. Well, that's where Tableau Next extensions are super flexible in that you can add custom actions directly to your tables. Analyze, which we'll save for after, portfolio review, right? Let's say I'm meeting with Nancy and I want to talk to her about all her holdings as well as her portfolio performance versus a benchmark, right? Hey, Nancy, you're beating the S&P 500 by being with us. You're beating it by 2 percentage points. Fantastic. You should actually give us more of your money, right? Love that. Love to see that. I also want to call out meeting prep. This is something that we see a ton, right? Meeting prep can be driven by a lot of data points. These data points are specifically usually coming from Salesforce for a lot of my clients. Well, we can import that Salesforce information live and actually draw out those financial goals, draw out the recommended discussion topics, and propose next steps. Also, speaking of Salesforce, this KYC information is not doing so well, right? I need to improve that. Well, I can also create a case that is sending information out to another system. Mainly Salesforce is going to be really easy. So let's say help with KYC. This is a vague description, but I'm actually using Agentforce Case Creator in order to take a vague description of what I want to do and actually pass that into case required fields in my CRM, in this case, Salesforce, right? Agentforce is super good at deciphering that. And then as an end user, I can actually choose manually what reason I want to do afterwards. But for now, it looks like it got everything right. That's amazing. I'm going to create that case and I'm going to send that off directly to Salesforce. This is possible and actually super easy to integrate because Tableau Next sits on top of that Salesforce platform, right? So being able to call that create case API or call that create case flow becomes super easy thanks to Tableau Next. We can see that right here. That case has now been created. Well, let's go back to the dashboard. I've been saving a bit of the best for last. This analyze button right here, I think is super powerful. As I click analyze, we're going to actually see our agent little box here, our agent chat pop up and actually offer up a prompt directly inside of this agent with a structured response for key findings, visualizations, recommended best actions, and it even gives us the ability to create a report, ask additional questions, whether with, these prompts, or I could also ask an open-ended question as well. I'll create a report off of this as well because I want to save it for later or export it as a PDF. But for right now, I have it available to me and I can exit out of it as well. Speaking of, when I clicked Analyze, these next best actions on the left-hand side of my screen were also regenerated specifically to Dorothy. Right, so Dorothy represents a significant compliance and retention risk for the firm. Well, maybe I want to escalate that, right? This can lead to another Salesforce workflow, right? Salesforce is so good at performing those workflows. And as Tableau, we want to be able to call out the insights, but we don't want to necessarily own the workflow. We want another system to do that. And Salesforce is extremely capable of doing all of those workflows. out of the box or more custom as well. Finally, I want to talk about a data table. So data table is something that is super useful for users who really just want to have a view of the book of their business. They want to be able to download this as a CSV as an example, but specifically, hey, we also have actions here, right? So if you want to throw actions in your data tables that look like this, right, that can help them create those cases, help them get to those portfolio reviews, you don't want to necessarily, you don't want to necessarily deal with too much change management all at once, right? And going from this or from a data table to this, that can sometimes be a lot, right? It's super powerful and there's a lot of value in these insights, but sometimes people just want to see a simple table. Well, in this table, we're going to add that actionability as well as that ability to analyze and go to that agent if we want to as well. Now, that's really going to conclude the dashboard, but I want to touch on the dependencies for this, and that is trusted data. Thanks to Tableau Next Enterprise platform, we're actually able to model data using something called a Tableau Next semantic model. Tableau Next semantic model is able to read data from your SQL warehouses and your CRM, right? Salesforce CRM. In this case, it could be Redshift, it could be Databricks, it could be Snowflake, it could be Salesforce, Marketing Cloud, Financial Services Cloud, Sales Cloud. We can take all that data together, model it together in order to create trusted business metrics across the platform, right? Things like AUA, advisor payout, commission multiplier, or some things that we might have seen in the demo like net new assets or pipeline value, right? We are defining how to actually calculate this by taking the raw information from those SQL warehouses and actually giving it consistent and standardized business meaning that our AI can then read from, our extension can then read from in order to provide those insights and also just provide that consistent dashboard with trusted data. So all of this, right, this Tableau Next semantic model, as well as our Tableau Next extensions, can really get your wealth advisors super powerful applications that not only help them with analytics, but also help them with that actionability. And I think that's really what we're looking for now is how do we marry those two things together with trusted data? This is a full-fledged solution. I love it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.